Hey guys, just wanted to do a little video about installing a toilet, and basically all I did here is I had to retile, and in order to do that, you need to pull the toilet out, retile it, set the toilet back down, and it looks a lot nicer. It looks more professional. You don't have all that caulking around the toilet. It makes it look really tacky and everything. But I hope this video comes out okay, because one thing that I've noticed about the iOS YouTube Capture app is it does a lot of back and forth refocusing stuff. So it's probably doing it now, and it really irritates me when I play it back. But anyway, everything that I'm fixing to do when it comes to taking the toilet out, you just do the exact opposite. The first thing being, shut your water off, flush the toilet, and then suck out any water in the tank and in a bowl with a shop vac or something. That way it's a lot less water, it's a lot less weight when you go to pull the toilet. But as far as getting the toilet out, it's going to be the exact opposite process that I'm fixing to do. Pretty much all you're going to need is you're going to need a crescent and a new wax ring. Sometimes I end up replacing the flange. There's a little metal ring right here around the flange. Sometimes you want to replace that. Sometimes you end up having to replace the bolts. This was recently set, so I'm still good to go with this old stuff. So all we're going to do is replace the wax ring. And no big deal. I'm kind of taking this off backwards, but get that ready. And it's a pretty simple process. The only thing that I don't like is sometimes it's easier to take the tank off, because you won't have it wobbling back and forth when you have to pick it up to secure the wax ring. But this one is pretty stable, so I don't think I want to break the seal on it. Basically all you do is you want to stick the wax ring right back on there, kind of press down on it firmly, maybe twist it a little bit so it'll stick. Sometimes it'll fall off on you when you try to set it, and then you just pick it up. And you're going to go real slowly over the old bolts. Make sure it's going on both sides. And set it down. Then you want to put a little bit of weight on it. Kind of smash it down. And that's it. A lot of times you can replace the caps, washers. But you know, you really don't have to. If they're messed up, you might as well go ahead and do that, because you know, it might save you some hassle later. And you just put these back on here. Pretty simple process. You know, highly recommend doing it on your own. It's not that big of a deal, and believe me, you're gonna save yourself a killing on plumber's cost and all that. It's really not that big of a job. The kinds of things that you call your plumber out or an electrician out or something is when you're getting into replacing wall piping and stuff, and you've got to cut the wall out, and you know, if you know how to solder, which I do have a video for that, that's like the hardest part, really, is identifying your leak, figuring out how you're going to fix it. If you're going to use PEX, well then that's a really nice substitute to copper. But if you're going to use copper, just go down to Home Depot or Lowe's and get you some, you know, some soldering and torch and new copper pipe and fittings and everything, and you can make it work. Trial and error, and really, you're not going to learn anything if you don't screw up at least one time. So, one thing that I do suggest is if you're going to pull a toilet, if it does not have a braided line, supply line, and at least one of those quarter turn angle stops, which is where you don't have to sit there and turn it. It just one little quick motion and it shuts your water off. I would go ahead and just spend the extra money to replace that stuff because it's going to make your life so much easier later. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to spare you guys the whole turning the water on and checking everything, but basically what you do is I replace this angle stop so I still have the water off, but you turn the water back on, check for leaks here because you replace the supply line. You want to go ahead and check leaks for right here by the tank, and then of course after it fills up and it stops, you're going to want to flush it and check for leaks at the base. And because you didn't re-dap the bottom of the bowl or anything, if it leaks, you're going to know as soon as you flush the toilet. I mean, it's going to pour water everywhere. And then that's just simply shutting the water back off, sucking all the water back out, pull the toilet out, replace the wax ring, or add another. You could get the wax rings where it doesn't have the molding on it. It's just the wax itself. You can put another ring of wax on there, reset the toilet right back down on it, and maybe that's all it needed. Just need more wax. But that's pretty much it. And simple process. As a matter of fact, I think I do have the water on. I do. Cool. I went ahead and replaced the fill valve on here because they get old and there's just no point in resetting the toilet with a bad fill valve with bad parts, because then the person moves in, they go to use the toilet a couple of times and now it doesn't work right. And you're back in here messing with it again. Spend that extra money, replace the parts that look like they're old, decrepit, and see right there we've got a leak. And it's coming from this guy came loose right here. Piece of cake. So once you are done and you verify that it has no leaks, you can walk away from it. You know in confidence that you've replaced parts like the fill valve, the supply line, the angle stop. You've reset the toilet with no gap on the bottom, so you know if it's going to leak, you're going to know exactly where the leak's coming from, why it's leaking. It just makes your whole life a lot easier. It's easier to do it with a flashlight because as soon as the water starts coming out, you'll notice it because of the shine. But if you don't have a flashlight and just feel around like this, when you reset a toilet like this, all it's going to take is the first flush to know whether or not it's leaking. You don't have to sit here and go, well, maybe it's not, It's one flush and you're going to know whether it's leaking. But we're good to go. So we're done in here, and I'm going to go finish the kitchen, tiling the kitchen. Y'all have a good one.